Hello everybody and welcome back to North Dakota Car Guy. In today's episode of Project Dream, I'm going to be showing you guys how to install custom side skirts for your car. Stay tuned. Alright, so before we get to putting the side skirts on the car, I want to give a huge shout out to Shane for giving me these for a really good price. Crazy event. Glad to see everybody again. It was awesome. Shane is also a fellow RX-7 drifter. He drifts that blue V8 swapped. He absolutely rips in that thing, so he's upgrading to a different kit, so he let me get these for a very good deal. So thank you again, Shane. But unfortunately, the lettering is gonna have to go because we're gonna wrap these like I did with the front bumper. So the next step is, depending on your side skirts that you get and depending on which vehicle, you'll have to take any kinds of trim off. And then these side skirts specifically, if you look on here, it actually comes up and over this guy here. So I already took the one off that side, and then this one's always been gone since I bought the car. But now we gotta take this one off, and it can be a little bit tricky. So I've got this pry tool. So I've got this pry tool here that I'll use to kind of start peeling it away. And this stuff's pretty on there, so we might need to grab a screwdriver to get us started. Just be very careful about bending it back or scratching the paint or whatever you want to do. Alright, so we're just going to very carefully pry this. There we go, there's our piece. This is actually good plastic. This is one Japanese plastic I'll actually like, or this even is plastic, polyurethane. Well, it's still plastic, but you get the idea. Alright, so with a lot of elbow grease, we got all the text off. Sorry, Shane. But the next thing we need to do now is to do our first test fits and our mock-ups. And he's already done a really good job with cutting up in the edges here. We got a little bit of stuff here, and then over here on this end here, we need to see if all matches up with my car. So let's go ahead and test fit it and see where we need to trim. And with some cars as well, you may have to open your door to get this bottom lip in. Very nice. Alright, so as we can see, that already fits up really well. The only thing we see here is we got a little bit of rubbing down here, and I can't get this in all the way, but we should be able to force it in a bit more. And then we've got a bit of a gap up here. This piece right here though fits beautifully well already. Taking a closer look, we can see where the gap is here, and it's just some of this. I'm sure his car is probably a little bit different. So we just need to trim off a good chunk of this here and then kind of shallow it out to where that lip is, and then that'll fit in snug. Then when that fits in snug, hopefully the rest of that can get shoved in more, so then the door stops rubbing. And then over here, we can see right here we're part of the trim, where the trim comes up through here, and then we've got a bit of contact right there, and then it gets opened up again, and that's kind of where our missing space is going. So we're gonna take some of this out here, get that flushed up, and some of this right here. I'm gonna try something really crazy here. Never got to use this yet. Look at that. Do this. I'm gonna just move it out slightly. Look at that. What the heck happened? Alright, so now that we're all done trimming, I had to trim some of this inside piece too for the door, trimming the top. All there is left to do now is test fit our piece. Once we've got it all put on, boom. But now that it all fits and the door doesn't clip the side, now we got to figure out what exactly we're going to do with this edge here. And it's actually much more simple than you think. Now, originally I was thinking of drilling 2 rivets here, but they're actually threaded rivets, and then just screwing them in like so. And I could do that, or I could do something a whole lot sleeker. And that is by adding some 3M tape onto the backside, and the tape will hold this in here, and then we will go ahead and tap in some screws over on this side. That way it's kind of not as noticeable. And it's the same thing over here as well. We're just gonna put some 3M tape on here, put some screws on the back side of here, a little bit of some stuff showing here. I got a little nicked up in there. But that's kind of how it goes with fiberglass. You gotta take it for what it is. We might also add some 3M tape on the inside here, but you can also add some screws that won't be visible from the outside, but then you've got permanent screws in your board or in your metal here that are always going to be there. I'm surprised how clean that all fit up. And there's our little modification there. But before we go and do any of that, add some 3M tape, we got to wrap it up first. Alright, so next, before we go ahead and install the side skirts, we need to go ahead and prep the whole surface on here, on the vehicle and on the side skirt. So I've got some rubbing alcohol. Go ahead, clean up our spot. I'm actually gonna have to cut some of that off. Alright, and then the way we're going to be attaching just the lip, there are 2 holes here, but I'm not going to use them. I'm going to be using 3M tape, and then we're going to use holes on the side of it. Alright, now I'll do the same thing on the other side. Yeah, she ain't going nowhere.
Countdown to midnight, we're slaves to the moonlight. Take it up into the high.